Hey guys and gals, welcome back to another Vinny Vid Productions. In this video we're going to do part 2 of the roads and sidewalks for Wickenburg. I did do the flyover roads. I got those completed today, and so I'll show you what they look like on the layout, as I said previously. Also, I will show you the sidewalks I did for the city block, if you want to call it that. In my last video I've had a couple of comments. Never fails, whenever you're on doing a video you get a notification. Anyhow, in my last video I had some comments and some suggestions. One of them, one of the biggest suggestions was for me to show how to get the crossing signals hooked up. Okay, I will do a mock-up of the system, because to do it on my layout and do a recording of it will be pretty tough. So I'd rather just do a mock-up of it on my bench, and it'll be basically the same thing as if it was on a layout. I'll have a piece of track with all the sensors in it, and I'll show you the control board and all that stuff. Anyhow, with that all being said, I think we should get out to the work area and let me show you what's going on out there. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm out here in my work area. There's been a couple of guys that have been asking me what I use for my roads that I've been using in the Wickenburg area. So I'm out here in my work area and I will show you guys what I use. It's something that could be picked up at any local big box store, like Lowe's or Home Depot or Menards or whatever's in your town, country, or whatever. Anyhow, it's pretty inexpensive, and I think it beats buying plastic from Evergreen. Anyhow, stay tuned and we'll get down to the work area and I will show you guys what I use. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. Alright guys, what you're looking at is a for rent sign. Yes, that's right, it's a for rent sign. And you could pick this up, like I said, you could pick this up at any major big box store. This sheet here is 18 inches by 22 inches, and I think it costs like $7, which is better than the price from Evergreen. Anyhow, this area here that you see I have marked off will be for the foundation for the DPM buildings. And I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this back here, but I do have it marked off for the flyover overpass that I am doing. After it's cut out, this is what you're going to wind up with. Alright, now the surface on this area is very shiny, so you're going to have to scuff it up like I did here, and you can see the difference in the red. And you need to make sure that you clean it off really well, because there is a lot of dust left on there. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and cut these two pieces out. And we'll show you what the end result is when I get back. So stay tuned and we'll be back shortly. Alright guys, before I start cutting, I just want to mention on how I do cut it. As you can see, I've got a steel rule right here, and it's clamped down on both ends, so I make sure that I get a straight cut along this area right here. It's important that you make straight cuts on this so your foundations look good when they're finished. And I'll be using a utility knife rather than a hobby knife. This plastic is about between 20 and 30 thousandths thick, so it's plenty good for doing any kind of modeling. I have used this to build structures also. So let me get on with the cutting and we'll be right back. Alright guys, as you can see, I've got the first piece cut out. This is going to be the foundation for the DPM buildings in the town of Wickenburg. Alright, now I need to cut out my road for my overpass, as you can see right there. And what I'm going to use for that is something very simple. A pair of scissors. This way I could follow the line perfectly around, or as perfect as I can get it anyhow. This piece inside of here, don't think it's a piece of junk and throw it away. Save it, because you'll be able to use it somewhere else on your layout, I guarantee it. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and get cutting on this. I won't show you how I do it. Just basically follow the lines, and we'll be back soon. Be right back. Alright guys, this is a test fit of the foundation for all the DPM buildings. What I forgot to mention to you guys was that the roads are also for sale or for rent signs. Now, the smaller ones, which are like $2.98, they are thinner plastic, probably about between 10 and 20 thousandths, probably, I would say probably 15 thousandths. But this one being a little bit thicker, you can see that it gives me a bit of a curve that I was looking for. So anyhow, of course it's not painted yet. Let me get up here so you guys can see it. I will sand that all down because, like I said earlier, it's got a pretty slick finish on it. The paint won't stick. Alright, let's move on down to here. I always do a test fit for my roads, and as you can see, this one here has already been sanded, and you can see the difference between this one and this one. The roads will get painted on both sides. The bottom will be like a dark primer gray, and the top will be the same color as this. And I wish I could remember what color this was called so I can give you guys that information, but I really don't. I bought this a while ago. It was on sale in the don't want it anymore bin, so I paid like 50 cents for the jar of paint. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and sand these down and give them their first coat of paint, and we'll see how it goes from there. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright guys, as you can see, I've got the all my parts primed, and what I used was this Rust-Oleum flat gray primer. I always prime my parts before I actually paint them, just to make sure I get a good adhesion of the paint to the plastic. This is the foundation for the DPM buildings, and as you can see, I already scribed in my expansion joints for the sidewalk, and they are at 10 scale feet intervals, and I always use a square to make sure that they are pretty much in the straight side. Anyhow, after you do this, I have this I guess it's a file. I got it from a lady's makeup shop. It's very fine, and what I did was I went over this just to make sure that nothing is sticking up past where I want it to be. And also, if it leaves some scratches in there, that's okay, because it'll just add a little bit of texture to your sidewalk. Now, my last video that I posted had a couple of guys telling me that I should have used white dash lines instead of yellow. Well, at the time, I didn't have the white ones, so I contacted John, and I bought a sheet of white stick-ons. This is from Highways and Byways again. The service is great. I had these like within 2 days, and John did contact me and asked me if I got them, and I think that's pretty good service. Anyhow, the rest of the stuff will be this will be the gray I'll be using for the roads. And this guy here is something I scrounged up in my garage that was left by the previous owner. It's a lighter gray than what's on there right now. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a couple hours to dry up. And then I'll go ahead and paint the top coats. The roads themselves will also get the expansion joints. And we'll do that in a little while. Anyhow, we'll be back shortly after I put the top coats on this and show you what it looks like. Be back in a little bit. Alright guys, so I'm going to show you the next step that I will be doing with the flyover roadways. Of course, again, I'm using the Highways and Byways graphics. Again, I can't stress how good this product is. When it's down, it's down. All I can say is if you guys need road graphics, HO.SCALE or whatever, give John a look-see. His webpage is highwaysandbyways.com. So give them a check out, and if you need the stuff, go ahead and get it. Anyhow, let's go ahead and do the next part of this. Anyhow, as you can see, I've got the first one done, and I did use white striping for the center line. This will be the northbound lanes, and I decided that on this one, instead of doing the cracks, I'm gonna do the cracks first and then do the weathering. Previously I was doing the weathering and then the cracks. I think it'll look better if I do the cracks first. Anyhow, all I'm going to be using is a mechanical pencil, and basically it's just pick out a place and do some squiggly lines. So let me show you the first one I'll do. We'll get over here. And from the videos I've been watching, you should always start your crack at the expansion joint. So I'm going to do my first one, and then I'll show you how the rest of it's going to look. Now this is an overpass, so I'm not going to put that many cracks in, just a few, just to give it a little bit of detail. Anyhow, basically all you got to do is this. Pick a spot and draw a very squiggly line that way, and you could branch it off and come out that way. And let's see, you guys can see that. There you go. There's one crack. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of more of these, and then I'll show you the way I'm going to do the weathering. So stay tuned, and did a couple of cracks on there, and as you can see, I don't think they look too bad. Like I said, this is actually the first time I'm ever trying to do any kind of weathering or anything to my roads, so this is a new deal for me. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is, I told you guys that I would be using this very, very dark gray with a very stiff brush, and what I'll do is I'll show you how I start it, and then I'll show you the completed project. So hang on, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, we're going to start doing the weathering now. So what I'll do is I'll take my brush and I'll dip it into the weathering chalk, and I'll flick it off so I don't get that much on at one time. And then all we need to do is go down the center line, the thin edge of the brush, and come on down like that. And then once you get that down, you can rub it in with your fingers, and it gives a nice effect on weathering the wear mark that goes down the middle of the road. So let's go ahead and continue this. There you go. There's my weathered road. Didn't take very long to do it, and for a guy who has no weathering experience, my opinion is that it came out pretty good. Now, the next thing that's going to be done on this, and it won't be done today, but I'll be using this number 147. It's 40 thousandths by 156 thousandths, and I'll be using that as a guardrail, and I'll be putting it both on the inside and the outside of the curve. These will get painted cement color. Anyhow, the other road is here. It needs to get a second coat of paint, so when I finish that one, the process will be the same as this one, and then we'll put it on the layout and see what it looks like. So stay tuned, and we'll be back shortly. Alright guys, you know that I've been telling you guys about this highways and byways graphics for your streets. Well, you know, there are other uses for these straight lines right here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about real soon. I like the product, and that's why I'm telling you guys that, you know, if you need to have road graphics on your layout, definitely give John at Highways and Byways a check out. Anyhow, let me show you what I did. Just by taking a couple of these lines all I did was add my crosswalk. And as you can see, it looks pretty good. And when it's on the layout, I'll show you what it looks like. Anyhow, just wanted to give you that little piece of information. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. Alright guys, here we are back out of my layout. And here's the Morristown Avenue overpass or flyover, whatever you want to call it. As you can see, it looks pretty good to me. I think you guys might like it too. But anyhow, these guys won't get permanently attached until I build the stanchions for them, and also the track work underneath still needs to be completed as far as wiring and stuff like that go. Anyhow, let's move on down to the next place. My partner in crime, Diana, suggested that maybe I should scratch build a McDonald's. So if I do so, the substation, I will move over to this area right here and scratch build the McDonald's. Alright, the next thing we're going to talk about is these telephone poles. These are pretty cool telephone poles because they are pretty flexible. They kind of go right back up into position. Anyhow, I'm going to repaint those to a darker brown, and we'll see how that looks when that gets done. I did not finish the road here yet because I wanted to get this all lined up first so I can get my lines straight. Alright, next thing, gas station and DPM buildings will all be in the next scene, along with the empty spot there, which is the depot. Anyhow, as you can see, I got my crosswalks in there, and I tell you what guys, I'm getting crack crazy here. As you can see, I added cracks in the sidewalk, and also in the back I put some scenery back there, and I will eventually blend it into the up to the track. Just waiting because I still need to get all the electrical hooked up and get some ballast done and fill in all the empty spaces. Anyhow, after that, we'll go ahead and get down here, and I'll show you that I have added a couple of street signs. And I'll tell you what, these guys, the slightest little touch on them wipes the decal off. So I tried that one several times, and I'm just going to leave it like that, like it's just worn out. And there's my speed limit sign, and then we got our crosswalks. And so I'm thinking that this scene is coming along pretty good right now. Anyhow, hope you guys liked the video, and as always, your questions, comments, input, and subs are always welcome. For now, that's all folks. BNSF 6951 out.